Hey kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today we have the review of a Folomov 18650S. Folomov, if you guys don't know, is a flashlight that comes out of China. The company is a Chinese company. It's a relatively new company established in 2017. So right now, being so new to the market, they have that great balance between price and performance, which gives it pretty nice value. This guy here is not really that expensive. This guy here is on loan from thomastools.com.my. You want to know more about the pricing and more about this flashlight, you can check out the description down below. We have a link to thomastools.com.my. So without further ado, let's get into the flashlight review. First thing I really like about this flashlight is the size, and I'm going to measure it for you guys right here. And in inches, we are coming at about 3.96 inches, or right around 100 millimeters. At the widest portion right here, which is the head, it comes in at right around 24.4 millimeters or so. Convert that, you have around 0.96. We have 0.96, 0.9 something, almost 1 inch at the widest portion right here. And where the grips are, where your hands sit, it comes in at 0.9 inches, or about 23 millimeters thereabouts. Looking at the weight right here, this is in grams, so sorry, you're gonna need to convert it to ounces if you're living in the United States. It's coming in at 95 grams, if you guys can see right there, 95 grams. So the size right here, very nice for everyday carry. It's kind of that in between, being just about small enough to carry around your pocket, but you can still like throw it into your bag. So this flashlight right here, I feel like it's a great like in between, like your everyday carry urban flashlight, and then you can also in some lighter situations take it outdoors. So I really like that size right there. Next up, I want to talk about the lumen spread, because the lumen spread here is really impressive and I really like it. We have here, if you hold it down, we have here a moonlight mode of 0.5 lumens for 700 hours, which is a really long time. I don't know how many days that is, but it's really good. I really like a nice low moonlight mode, because sometimes at night you don't want to kill your night vision, and then this is where that comes in. Next up, well, we went straight to high. Okay, let's lower it back down. Next up, we have the lowest mode at 10 lumens for 200 hours. At the low, we have 50 lumens for 300 hours. We have a medium, which is 150 lumens for 12 hours. We have a high, which is 300 lumens for 7 hours. Then we have a turbo mode, which can last for 5 freaking hours. Beam distance on the turbo mode is 167 meters. It is impact resistant up to 1 meter with an IPX8 waterproof rating. Speaking of waterproof rating, it does come with some extra O-rings right here to help with the waterproofing, as well as, I forgot to mention this, a lanyard and a micro USB cable. And what is this micro USB cable for? Well, it is for the battery, which is something I really like about this flashlight. The battery itself is micro USB chargeable. So I like to simplify my life as much as I can, even though I don't do it most of the time. But I need to make sure that my flashlights have either enough battery, or I can get new batteries for it, or I can charge the batteries. And having a flashlight battery that I can charge myself using a cable that I already have is a great convenience to have. And I really like micro USB or even USB-C charging, because I also have one of those cables. Another thing I really like about this flashlight is that it has a nice single button operation. You have a nice clicky button in the back, and then it goes on. Let me scroll it back down. So it's really nice. Personally, I would prefer a side switch, but that's just personal preference. I just like being able to switch here. But this back button operation can be nice in certain situations as well. It's just nothing for me to complain about, but at the end of the day, it's just personal preference. Plus, I kind of like the clickiness of this button right here. Next thing, I'll talk about the interface. As you can see right now, we're at 10 lumens, and then it goes up and up and up, and then we get to 300, and then it gets back down. So it doesn't have like this kind of rise to high lumen and then drop back to the lowest lumen, then high rise and then drop back to the lowest lumen. It's more of a pyramid where it goes to low, lowest, medium, high, turbo, and then back down to high, medium, low, lowest. So this just if you go straight up to like 900, you feel like it's too bright, you can, instead of it jumping back down to 10, it kind of goes down slowly. So this just makes it a little bit easier for you to kind of go through the scales right there. And it does also have your strobe modes and then your SOS and your beacon modes. Just double click it, you're in your strobe modes. Double click again, you have your SOS modes, and then you double click it and then you get your beacon mode. Another feature about this flashlight here, it does have a lockout. All you gotta do is, I'm reading it here, click it 3 times and then it will be in lockout mode. So now no matter what you do, no matter how long you press, it's not going to switch on. Very good for, you know, keeping it in your bag. And then if you want to unlock it, just quickly press it 3 times as well. And now we're back in business. Bada bing, bada boom. It does also have a countdown timer. I've never personally needed to use a countdown timer, but if that's something that's important to you, then well, that's going to be important to you. Countdown timer pretty much means that when the light is on, you click it 3 times and then you can set how long you want the lights to be on, maybe 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of pretty much what I like. Oh, last thing I like is about this flashlight is the pocket clip. It has a pretty nice pocket clip, nice good retention, no complaints there. Now let's talk about a couple of things I do not like about this flashlight. First of which, the light is a little bit yellow for my preference. I do like a more of a neutral white color, because you know, sometimes you want to see the color of certain things, you want to see the colors of other lights, you want to see the colors of this and that. And especially if you have a kid around, you want to see the color of snot or whatever to find out if she has a flu or whatever. Sometimes having a yellow color right here is not the most beneficial. Another thing about this flashlight is that it's a little bit spotty. Now, spottiness, a spotty light is good for anything involving, you know, if you need to search for something, if you're outdoors, if you're hiking, you need to see longer distances, you need to see what's ahead of you. A spottiness is going to be very good. However, the beam distance is only 167 meters. At that distance, I would prefer something that floods. Okay, if I really want something spotty, I want something to go really far, like 200, maybe 300 meters and beyond. Then it makes sense to have something spotty, because then you can really look very far. As for this guy right here, it is, I mentioned that it's right in between that urban indoor and outdoor, but I feel like sometimes with the short distance and all that, it kind of leans a little bit towards the indoor use. So I don't know, this just, I would have preferred it if it was a little bit more floody. Maybe some spotting would be okay in this, for this particular flashlight, but if it floods out a little bit more, that would be a little bit better. Now another thing to talk about this flashlight is that it has a tendency to heat up quite fast. You put it in high mode, or okay, turbo mode, it's definitely going to heat up pretty quickly, but sometimes even if you put it in high mode, sometimes it can really heat up the tip right here. Not that big of a deal if you live in, like, say, a colder climate country. Maybe you might want to see, it already feels warm. Maybe you might want to use this as a hand warmer, but you know, sometimes if you don't need that heat, then it can kind of be uncomfortable to use this sometimes. Last but not least, something that I kind of prefer it had is a magnet. Now, I only have one other flashlight around that has a magnet. It's also a Folomov light. It's the EDC C2 that's also on loan from Thomas Tools. That has a tail magnet and then a side switch. So magnets, I have found that after using a flashlight with a magnet, that is quite beneficial. You know, you can stick it to a car, you can stick it to a door, you can stick it to a table leg or whatever. It's going to be extremely useful on a day-to-day basis. Now, I understand that sometimes having magnets means that, you know, maybe get stuck to your keys or whatever, but those are all small complications to the convenience it is to have a magnet. I know a friend who works in production. He was in the forest one night, and then what he did was he took his knife and stabbed it into a tree, and then stuck the flashlight onto the blade that was stuck in the tree, and then he kind of used that to light up the space as well. Alright, so yeah, that's basically it. So a quick conclusion. Things I like about it, I really like the size and the weight. Very good for either keeping it in your pocket if your pockets are relatively empty, or I would kind of, most of the time I would prefer throwing this into the bag. Extremely comfortable in hand. Has very good lumen spread and very good lumen interface. Single button operation, the battery is USB rechargeable. Things I don't particularly like about it, the light is just a little bit yellow for my taste. It's a little bit spotty for what I would use this particular light for. It heats up relatively quickly, and then it has no magnets. So that's it, guys. I personally would not be keeping this. I will be sending it back because now I've already used it for a review. It's a really good light, especially if you're looking for something that is a little bit more powerful than what you'd carry day to day, but it's not so chunky as something that you would need to bring into the woods or into the outdoors. Okay guys, if you want to know more about this flashlight, do check out the description below and for the link to Thomas Tools where you can get this flashlight. And as always, stay ready.